One thing the Phillies have not been able to do recently is enjoy a nice walk. What seems so normal 400 to 500 times during the flow of a season has become a mountain of a challenge in April. So many times a walk leads to success, and the run production needs that extra step soon. Now, the Phillies and their fans have never talked more about free passes before. It's been 4 games since the Phillies last walked in a ball game. Tonight, they'll go after that elusive walk and end this losing streak as they take on the Cardinals in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Chris Wheeler. You know, over the years, we've talked about a lack of hitting. We've talked about poor defense from time to time, exceptional play on the mound, in the field. Very few times have we talked about free passes, Wheels, and walks the way we've talked about it the last couple of days.
Yeah, the whole thing's gotten a little bit ridiculous, Tom, and we have to talk about it so much. But, yeah, a walk seems so normal, and they haven't been able to get a walk in 4 games. Now, last night against Wainwright, you kind of figured that might happen, but maybe somebody coming out of the bullpen, they get a ball. Now, we look back, how about a 7-game no-walk streak? This happened for the Phillies back in 1920. Now, contrary to what they were saying down in the truck today, I did not see these pitchers. Read about some of them. Those are the starters in those games where there were no walks. And look, you're going to see a lot of teams. There weren't not many teams around in those days. See teams like the Giants and Brooklyn and the New York Giants and all those kind of teams. And the Phillies were just having all kinds of problems walking in those games. But to sit around in this era and talk about walks and not having it just seems so bizarre. Well, maybe somebody will walk right out of the chute and I will get this over with.
And we'll see. And obviously the Phillies' on-base percentage is fairly low because of the lack of free passes that they've had over the last week or so. All right, the other storyline tonight, and it's a big one, Roy Halladay back on the mound after picking up his 200th victory where he was outstanding against the Marlins.
Yeah, he was really good in that game against the Marlins, Tom, as you said, after 2 really rough starts. One of the things, they were swinging at him. He was getting the ball over, and he was getting them out fast. So as a result, his pitch count was way down. You think about him throwing 40 pitches in 1 inning in one of his starts. Well, in this game, they made some really good defensive plays. Chase Utley was very, very active in the game. And Roy Halladay got some strikeouts. He fielded his position well here. He did everything really well in this game. And then they would finally win the game late, and he would have his 200th career win as Chase makes another really good play there. Rich Stubbe says congratulations to him as he leaves after 8 really strong innings. Now look at his first 2 starts and the last one and the efficiency involved in this. Pitches seen, they were way down because the hitters were swinging early at him. You see the batting average. Everything was good, and of course they were chasing more. So it was a good outing for Roy Halladay, and he just wants to continue that here tonight.
The 109th pitcher to reach 200 victories in his career. That's Roy Halladay. He'll go for 201 tonight, getting himself ready for this start against the St. Louis Cardinals. He'll be opposed tonight by left-hander Jaime Garcia, who's making his 4th start of the year. Garcia had some shoulder problems last year, so didn't pitch his full boat of games. Well, one guy who'll be back in the lineup tonight, he had an impact last night. He's the all-time active leader in home runs against the Phillies. That's Carlos Beltran. We'll be back with the lineups and first pitch right after this. Well, just in time for Roy Halladay to throw the first pitch of the night. It's a fastball taken outside, so we're underway here at Citizens Bank Park. Matt Carpenter is the leadoff hitter for the Cardinals. Halladay was working quickly in his last start against the Marlins, and I'm sure that's something he'd like to do again tonight. Getting in a groove early. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Carpenter. Carpenter, a .276 hitter, 1 home run and 6 RBIs. He is 4 for 12 on this road trip for the Cardinals. And the last night's ball game was 0 for 4 with a strikeout. And the 1-2 pitch. Line drive towards center field. Should be an easy play for Revere. It is. There's the first out. Here's the rest of the Cardinals lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. After Carpenter, it's John Jay and Matt Halladay. Carlos Beltran will be the cleanup hitter. Alan Craig bats 5th. Ty Wigginton, the former Philly, is over at third base. Tony Cruz does the catching tonight. He'll bat 7th. Pete Cosma, the shortstop, 8th. And Jaime Garcia, the pitcher, will bat 9th. John Jay, 2 for 11 lifetime against Halladay. Takes the pitch high. It's 1-0. Well, we showed this during the open, but in the last outing against the Marlins, Doc had them swinging early. And part of that is because he was working ahead of the hitters. His numbers this year, 1 and 2 with an ERA of 7.63. And on the 2-0 pitch, it's swatted out towards shortstop, and there are 2 outs.
He did a good job. His fastball moved that time. He jammed the hitter. Got the little pop-up. It was the Cardinals last year that he had the problem against, where he finally had to shut it down for a while after a tough first inning. Here's our scouting report on Roy from Budweiser. Improved fastball command. Tom was just talking about that. He has to repeat his delivery. He knows how important that is. Lifetime against the St. Louis Cardinals, 3 and 2, including 1 and 1 last year. That game earlier in the season when he was shut down. Then he came back later in the year and beat them here.
8 innings or more in 5 of his 8 career starts against the Cardinals, and he gets Halladay to wave at a curveball, and it's 0-1. Halladay, .235, a home run, 11 RBIs. He is the 2nd best hitter in the National League with runners in scoring position. In fact, even though the Cardinals are a mixed bag batting average wise, they have the best batting average with runners in scoring position and runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Part of the reason why they find themselves at 9 and 6.
Yeah, that'll help you win some games if you can get those. Last night the Phillies weren't able to do that at the end of the game. Mike Matheny's club is doing it.
2-1 pitch to Halladay, and it's low, 3-1. Threw an 89-mile-an-hour fastball by him. He's thrown 1 fastball in this inning that's already hit 90. That one was at 89. And it's full, 3-2 to the number 3 batter.
Thrown him 2 curveballs, and he likes that pitch for a strikeout to right-handed batters.
Let's see where Quintero sets up. He's toward the outer edge, and a swing and a miss. He went after him with a fastball. It's held back inside, but Matt Halladay is struck out by Roy Halladay for the final out here in the top of the first. Nothing across for the Cardinals. It's a 13-pitch first inning for Roy Halladay. Middle of the first, it's the Cardinals nothing. The Phillies coming up, and Roy Halladay with a pretty clean inning. The first, let's take a look at Charlie Manuel's lineup for tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Freddie Galvis, his second straight start in left field. He'll bat second. Chase Utley third. Michael Young's batting cleanup tonight. Ryan Howard's out with a cranky groin. John Mayberry, the right fielder, bats fifth. Kevin Franz is sixth. And the bottom third of Revere, Quintero, and Roy Halladay. And they'll face Jaime Garcia, the 26-year-old, originally from Mexico, but he grew up in Mission, Texas. 1-0 with an ERA of 1.86.
And you never what kind of jewel you're going to find in the draft. This guy was out of the 30th round, 889th pick. And he's had a nice career. He's set back by shoulder problems last year. You see the numbers on him in our Budweiser scouting report. He will pitch inside to throw that changeup away to right-handed hitters. He has pitched great baseball against the Phillies, although they did beat him in a playoff game a couple years ago.
Jimmy Rollins takes the first pitch upstairs, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
But he has dazzled them in some of the games that he has pitched. And Kyle Kendrick beat him in a game last year, a complete game in St. Louis.
Yeah, that game last year at St. Louis, it was a Saturday afternoon.
The Phillies won the first 3 games in that series. And then the Sunday game was the one they lost when it was, well, Roy had to leave the game, how they had to leave the game with the shoulder problem.
Rollins lifted in the air to center field. John Jay ventures back a few steps. He's still going back as the wind carried it out toward the warning track. There's one away. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Scott Langle of Wilmington. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game. Scott will win $200. Well, that game that Kyle Kendrick threw last year, probably the best game Kyle's ever thrown.
Yeah, he was really, and at that time, the Cardinals were being called the best offensive team in the National League, maybe in baseball. So the Yankees were pretty good with the homers. But that team at that point last year was smoking the ball.
Freddie Galvis has hit in 5 straight ball games. He takes the first pitch belt high for a strike. Galvis overall hitting .350, 1 home run, 3 runs batted in.
Just since the game started, the wind has really picked up all of a sudden. And it could be a little bit of a factor right now.
Yeah, there is a line of thunderstorms that have been traveling up the coast most of the day. They're in a rain delay in Lehigh Valley up at Coca-Cola Park. Galvis pulls it toward third. Wigginton waited for it and just gets him by a step, and there are 2 outs.
Well, it's time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's game. This is only the second left-handed starter the Phillies have faced all year. They haven't fared well with lefties out of the bullpen, to say the least. Improving offense, well, it certainly was better last night, and they hope to carry it into this game.
Yeah, last night the Phillies banged out 13 hits, but still wound up losing the ball game 4-3. They had runners on first and third with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning and couldn't score the tying run. Utley takes on the inside corner. It's 0-1. Chase was 2 for 4 in last night's ball game. His average close to 300. It's a .298.
Garcia so wanted to know where that was. He just asked Alan Porter, was that outside? No.
Outside, 2-1. That leaves 0 for 6 lifetime against Jaime Garcia.
Hey, Ben Francisco had a big 3-run home run off him in that playoff game. Give the Phillies a 2-1 lead in that series. Of course, they would lose the last 2 games. Just close to a walk. Be glad when this is over.
I think a lot of people would be glad when it's over. There's a strike at the knees. 3-2 to Utley. Garcia last year appeared in 20 games. He missed a lot of the season. In fact, 64 games because of shoulder problems. 3-2 pitch. There's ball 4, and the stretch of walkless ball games is over.
I figure with that opening we did tonight, that had to do it.
first walk for the Phillies since Sunday's game against the Marlins. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The 0 walks last night. With 0 walks last night, the Phillies became the 10th team since 1950 to go without a walk in 4 straight games. The last one was the White Sox in 2011. So Utley's aboard. Michael Young batting cleanup.
But it's over.
It's over. Ryan Howard is not in the lineup tonight because he's got a sore groin. He is available to pinch hit, though.
And they're a pretty left-handed bench tonight, with the exception of Eric Kratz.
Want to know the count to Young? And 1 ball and 1 strike. Sprays that one foul. Michael Young has never faced Jaime Garcia in the regular season. Cardinals, though, faced the Rangers in the postseason. The Cardinals won the championship a couple years ago.
That was a great World Series. Oh, think of some of those games that were played in that World Series.
Think about the fact the Rangers got there twice and didn't win the World Championship.
Yeah, and they got one time with 2 outs and 2 strikes twice. That's oh, that's excruciating.
That's over the knees. It's 1-2.
Garcia had some shoulder problems last year. That's why he didn't have as good a season as he'd had before that. Battled through them, had to do some rehab stuff. Then he came back, and then he pitched. I think he had 9 starts at the end of the season.
In the dirt, and it's 2-2. Well, it's surprising because we saw the Cardinals last year. He was part of that series out in St. Louis, but surprising when you read that he missed 64 games. That's a lot of games for one of the team's better starters to miss, and they still went to the postseason.
Yeah.
Utley a short lead off first. Outside, 3-2. Jerry Lane says Michael Young held his swing.
He goes after him with a 2-2 changeup. Mentioned in the scouting report that he really likes that changeup to right-handed hitters. So you go right there, and he almost got into chase. Michael did not chase. And now you get into a situation where you throw it 3-2. We'll see. Might be a fastball count.
Well, Utley will be off and running on the pitch here. Still being held on by Craig over at first. There goes Chase, and the pitch is bounced foul past Juan Samuel. During the 2013 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs.
Well, they did backup changeups there. They threw a 2-2 and 3-2. Let's see if they would throw it 3 times, 3 straight times.
Utley goes again. It's fouled off the foot of Michael Young. And Chase will stroll back to first base.
It's like a little cutter came down and in on him, beat it off his foot.
Michael Young has hit in 9 consecutive ball games for the Phillies. He was 1 for 4 last night. They'll have John Mayberry behind him in the on-deck circle. Again down the right field line and foul. Pitches now in this first inning for Jaime Garcia. Michael Young has seen 8 pitches so far. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Utley goes. And the pitch again fouled off Michael Young's foot. So he's fouled 2 off to the right and 2 off his foot.
Well, the changeup he's not going to hit off his foot, but that one coming down and in is the one he can hit off his foot, and he has.
Chase got to catch his breath and take a little lead off first base.
Michael Young said, throw it away from me.
Yeah, I'll shoot it the other way.
Yeah, and I won't hit it off my foot if the pitch is away.
Back toward the middle, a base hit. 10-game hitting streak. Utley's on his way to third, and he'll get there easily. First and third with 2 outs.
He's really a good high ball hitter.
Well, that was a 10-pitch at bat for Michael Young.
Well, watch where this fastball is. It's up. Right back through the middle. Well, that's a good looking stroke.
Well, here's Mayberry batting 5th. Mayberry making his 9th start of the year. He does have 4 hits and 9 at-bats against Jaime Garcia. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Well, he's one of the guys that when you put him in the lineup, he has to do some damage against a left-handed pitcher. And they're having so much trouble against left-handers. They did last year when you get right down to it. Because their right-handed hitters didn't help that much.
Yeah, and most of the trouble they're having against the relievers, obviously. They only had 1 start against a lefty. That's Paul Maholm of the Braves. And that's a line drive base hit toward left field. That's going to score Utley. It goes to the wall. Young on his way to third. Sandberg will hold him there. It's an RBI double, and the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. And how about a run before the end of the 5th inning? Hasn't happened in quite a while for the Phillies.
No. He threw him a high changeup, too. It was a good job by John Mayberry to pick on that mistake. Yeah, changeup, sits up in the zone a little bit, hits it hard to left field. No chance to score Michael Young from first base. It's shallow out in that area, and they got it back quickly, even with 2 outs.
All right, so the Phillies get a walk for the first time in 4 games, and they get a run for the first time before the 6th inning in 7 games.
So there's something about walking that can help you score runs.
Sometimes those free passes lead to runs. Here's Kevin Franzen playing first base tonight. He takes a strike.
Do they?
And it's 0-1. Franzen starting at first for the 5th time in his career. It's his 6th game overall. Took a lot of ground balls over at first base today. And he rips one. Diving stop at third base by Wigginton. How about that? He throws one to first. 2 runs are going to score. And the Phillies take a 3-0 lead.
I was going to say, Ty Wigginton had a lot of trouble playing third for the Phillies last year. He didn't make many plays like that. And he makes a spectacular play. He has a lot of time to throw, and he just flat out throws it away.
Kevin Franzen hit that on the nose.
He hit it right on the nose, and it's a tremendous play there by Ty Wigginton. And then he gives Craig 0 opportunity to even block that ball, let alone catch it. Here it is again. Looks like a base hit in the hole. You know what he did? He took a peek at second. When you watch that replay, it's almost like he took a peek at second, like he thought there was a man on first, and that may have gotten his timing off on that play.
So Mayberry scores from second, Young from third. They scored at E5 because a good throw would have gotten Franzen, even though it was a very good play by Wigginton to cut it off in the hole. But Kevin Franzen made contact, and the Phillies have a 3-0 lead. Here's Ben Revere, 1 for 3 last night. And Revere shoots it toward left center field. Jay on the run. He's not going to get it. It's a 1-hop off the wall. Franzen will score. Revere is flying around second, heading to third. He's there sliding. 4-0 Phillies.
Well, they play him so shallow out there in left center field, and the wind took that thing when he hit it. We saw it earlier in the game, first play of the game when Jimmy Rollins' ball went out there. And watch this thing take off. Down low in the strike zone, and Revere sees right there that ball is going to go to the wall, and he's thinking triple all the way.
The first extra base hit for Ben Revere, and it's a triple to drive in a run. And now Humberto Quintero, 8th man to bat in the inning. The Phillies lead it 4-0. Had a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. The error by Ty Wigginton really opened up this inning for the Phillies. That one's hit toward the alleyway in left center field. Jay's not going to get it. It's going to go to the wall. Revere walks home from third. Quintero pulls into second. It's 5-0 Phillies. The floodgates are open here in the bottom of the first.
Nothing like a 2-out walk to get a rally started.
That was Chase Utley's walk. He ran the count to 3-2 and then worked out the walk. And the Phillies have had base runners since. Now the Phillies have not had 5 runs in the first, as we mentioned, since that series against the New York Mets. Look at the first inning that they scored in every game since the Miami series began. That's what we're saying.
It's unreal.
And now Roy Halladay.
Quote the manager.
Charlie did say in his own way that these things do have a way of evening themselves out. He was hoping, though, that it would start evening itself out very soon.
Well, he knows they should have won. Well, they could have easily won that game last night. That one really hurt. They come out here and really knocking Garcia around with that error helping.
The 0-1 pitch to Halladay. That is inside, 1-1.
Knock off the little tough start with a bad machine. 6 ABs and 6 punch-outs.
And a breaking ball called strike 3. Halladay down looking. So 7 at-bats, 7 strikeouts for Doc. However, the Phillies scored 5 runs. And how does a rally start? Well, with a walk here in the bottom of the first. Game changer of the week is the newest member of the 200 Win Club. Roy Halladay had waited 197 days to get that elusive W, but all good things come with time. What a mountain he has climbed since his first win back in 1998 to become the 109th player to reach the mark. The journey to the milestone took 406 appearances and over 2,700 innings pitched to accomplish the rare feat. Nothing Doc does is without 100% effort. Make it 200% this time. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Changing the game. Well, Doc winning his 200th ball game was a rather impressive feat. The Phillies scoring 5 in the bottom of the first, getting a walk to start the rally, was equally as impressive. As we go to the second, it's 5-0 Phillies. Hey, Carlos Beltran will lead it off. So Doc's got a little breathing room to work with as we begin the second. Beltran has the most ABs against Halladay than anybody else in the lineup, and he rips that one deep to right, and it's not coming back. The Cardinals are on the board, and it's a 5-1 ball game. 13th home run here at Citizens Bank Park for Carlos Beltran.
He likes to hit her, doesn't he?
He does seem to enjoy it.
Right or left-handed.
That home run for Beltran, his 335th.
It looked like it was a cutter, and it cut right over the plate.
So a run across the plate for the Cardinals. Here comes Alan Craig. Craig's hitting .231 this year. No homers, 9 runs batted in. Over toward first. Franzen makes a nice play. Backing up on it, taking the big hop. And it'll bring it over to the bag. One away. Ty Wigginton coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce you to Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
Oh, well, thank you very much, T-Mac. Talking a little bit about the Phillies' nagging injuries that you guys touched on. Ryan Howard, of course, out with that sore groin that he mentioned to Charlie, but available to pinch hit tonight, so that is good news. Don Brown, who tweaked his back in that final game in Cincinnati, they just wanted to be extra precautious with him, so he's not in the lineup tonight, but again, available to pinch hit if needed. And Carlos Ruiz hit by a pitch in an extended spring training game today. He was hit in the left wrist. He went for X-rays. The good news, guys, those X-rays were negative. So right now, Carlos Ruiz day to day as he continues his extended spring down there in Florida, guys.
Yeah, that was it was scary at first, but then it was good news when word came that there was nothing on those X-rays. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Wigginton. Outside, 2-1. Now, Carlos is scheduled to meet the Phillies Murph Friday, right, in New York when they take on the Mets at Citi Field, as long as everything's okay with the wrist. Outside, 3-1.
Oh, yeah, you're talking to me, Tom. I'm sorry.
I was just bringing it into the conversation.
And I appreciate that. I didn't mean to ignore you. That is correct. They expect him back in New York, provided obviously no rainouts or any kind of cancellations for any games. That is the day he's expected back, and I'm sure Phillies fans certainly will be happy to see it.
All right, Murph, what about Delman Young? I know you and I were talking about him and his progress. Anything new on Delman?
Yeah, also good news for him. Ruben Amaro gave us an update on him yesterday, and right now the key for Delman is to play in back-to-back games, 3 games in a row. They want him to play about 7 innings out there in right field, and if he can do that, then they may start the clock on that rehab assignment and get him up here back into Philadelphia. I still think it's going to be around that May 1st date, which is what they expected all along, but Ruben says he's moving well in the outfield. He's making the plays he's supposed to, so that's important, and he's hitting well, so that's good.
All right, Murph, we appreciate it. We'll catch up with you again later on.
Sounds good.
Get that Major League notebook ready.
It is ready.
All right,
ready to go.
2 outs here in the second, and Tony Cruz the batter. Tony Cruz has 1 plate appearance this year. When you're the backup catcher on Yadier Molina's team, you don't expect to play that much. Molina is not starting for the first time this year.
How about not at all? You don't get to play
at all
at this point.
15 games. Molina has been in every inning, and hasn't caught 1 inning. That was it.
It's a serious open stance that he has, wide open, spread out, and a real stiff front leg, and very little stride. Just don't know this guy, and look at this. He just picks it up a little bit. A lot of times, those kind of guys, it's a little bit harder to fool them because they don't stride. You can't stride with that stance.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, update from Pittsburgh, where the Pirates are shutting out the Braves 2-0 in the bottom of the second. Pedro Alvarez, a 2-run home run. He has struggled out of the gate for the Pirates.
Yeah, he got it going last year where they thought maybe he had arrived to be the player they wanted, and then like a lot of their guys, he went south later in the season.
3-2 the count to Cruz here at the top of the second. Oh, a cutter right on the outside part of the plate. That was a beauty pitch from Halladay, and he got Cruz looking. Second strikeout for Doc. Well, he has control of the cutter so far tonight. Doc allows the leadoff home run. That's it. But watch how he paints toward the outer half against Tony Cruz. No match for the final pitch. Game is at 8:05 first pitch. The Citizens Bank Fanatics birthday. A free time travel and Fanatic DVD to fans 14 and under. Make your plans now. Order your tickets by going to Phillies.com or stop by the box office. Leading up to tomorrow's ball game. Bottom of the second. Top of the order. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off. Rollins fly to center his first time up. He's 0 for 1. A foul ball, and it's 0-1. Ty Wigginton's even with the bag at third. Now he's going to take a step back. Jimmy very rarely lays down a bunt, even when he's the everyday leadoff hitter. Curveball, that's a strike. Out toward left center field. On the run is Halladay out toward the track, and he reaches up. He's not going to get it. A one hop off the wall. Rollins will stop at second. A leadoff double. Well, the Phillies are getting some good swings against Jaime Garcia in the first couple of innings.
Yeah, they're wearing out that alley in left center field too. The wind is picking the ball up in that vicinity, and really, it's really taken off out there. Looked like Jimmy got a change up there, and it. Well, he can't get to it. You know, Matt Halladay he does what he can do out in left field. He's not a great outfielder. He's an offensive player.
Now let's see what Galvis does here with a runner at second. Phillies up 4. I thought he might try to bunt. He bunts it foul. He was trying to push it up the first base side, it looked like.
Yeah, his mindset right now is how do I get him over? And he decided he would bunt to get him. It's very unlikely they gave him a sign to bunt.
0-1 the count to Galvis. And he does shoot it the other way. They'll move Rollins over to third. He got his job done. 4-3 on the putout.
The reason I say that, Tom, is because Freddie Galvis is one of those guys they trust. You don't even think twice about it. You think, well, he knows how to play the game. He may not get it done, but he'll do everything he can to get the guy over to third base because he knows that's his job there.
A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver. Chase Utley's the batter. The Cardinals will play the infield in.
Second inning. Middle of the order.
Utley walked his first time up and scored the first run.
T-Mac and Wheels sitting down here in the dugout and watching Freddie Galvis come back into the dugout. First guy to greet him was the hitting coach Steve Henderson, saying just what you said, Wheels. Way to play the game the right way. Way to play the game. So obviously the guys down here noticing that as well.
It's funny, you just watch the way he was able to guide the ball. You know, his back foot peeled out a little bit. He was swinging late. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
You know, there are very few things in this game that are easy, and that certainly is not one of them, to try and get a runner over, because the guy's trying to make you not get him over. There's that exchange right there between Steve Henderson, Freddie Galvis, and Murphy just talking about. But he just can play the game. He has a very good feel of what to do. And the hitting coach, he really appreciated that.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2 now to Chase.
Those runs you have to get now. And when they bring the infield in, sometimes it'll get in the hitter's head that he has to lift it. Where you really don't, because you have those infielders in. Unless you hit it hard right at them, you're going to get a run, because they'll probably go on contact here. But once again, easier said than done.
Yeah, last night the Phillies had first and third, nobody out. They got a ball back to the shortstop, which was bobbled, but they couldn't get the run home.
Right, and they weren't going on contact with nobody out, or you'd have gotten the run there. Just nothing really went right in that inning after the first and third.
And that ball's looped over the head of the first baseman Craig into right field. Rollins strolls home from third. It's back to a 5-run ball game, 6-1 Phillies.
Great job by Chase Utley. Take advantage of the drawn-in infield in the second inning. Mentioned that. Maybe they're thinking weather. But that was a fastball. It ran right in on his thumbs, and he made contact. Little humpback liner. Everybody up, base hit. Good contact.
That RBI for Chase is 14th of the year. He's now 3 for 5 in this series. Here's Michael Young, who followed Utley's walk in the first with a 10-pitch at bat. Finished up with a line drive single to center field.
Big at bat in that first inning. You think about it. The error was huge, but that 10-pitch at bat accomplished quite a bit for the Phillies.
Also extended Michael's hitting streak to 10 straight games. Outside, 2-0. Ball toward third. Wigginton goes to second and just gets it there in time for the second out. Utley went in hard at second base. They had no chance of doubling up Michael Young. John Mayberry also had a big at bat in the first. He lined a double to the wall and left that brought home the first run. Just kept the train going after the walk by Utley with 2 outs.
Yeah, he made a poor pitch to Garcia with one of his best pitches, and that's a changeup to right-handed hitters. He got it up, and John Mayberry made him pay for it.
Alan Porter was trying to signal the control room that there are 2 outs. The big video board, the Fanavision, the left center field has 1 out on the board. There are 2 outs. Michael Young just asked the first base umpire, Jerry Lane, Lane just signaled to Greg Gibson. So the umpires are making sure that everybody knows there are 2 outs. Lane is the crew chief. Alan Porter is the home plate umpire. A little low, and it's 1-0 to Mayberry.
And it's just adding on a run here in this inning too. That's, not only couldn't they score, but certainly they didn't do these kind of things where they gave one up on Beltran's homer. Now they come back and add one.
Two and 1 the count to Mayberry. Actually, the Phillies had 13 hits in last night's ball game. They already have 6 base hits in the first 2 innings of tonight's game. So 19 against the Cardinals. That was one of the bright spots last night. Chase Utley had 2 hits last night. He has a hit here tonight. Charlie pointed that out after the game. He talked about it again today. He said although the team didn't walk again, that I was still encouraged by some of the at-bats that they had.
Yeah, and he was talking kind of like what we were saying on the air last night, that Wainwright isn't going to walk him. He's going to keep throwing strikes. He's not a guy who can stand up there and work the count again and get walks. And then they started to get to him a little bit there finally. Got some hits and runs off him.
Two and 2 the count to Mayberry. And a called strike 3. Took that one right down the middle. Phillies are retired here in the second, but they get the run back that they gave up in the top of the second. An RBI single by Chase Utley. We go to the third. Go to the fan section for all the information. And Wheels, please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, which player holds the Cardinals' single-season record for home runs by a rookie with 37? It's an excellent question.
Yeah, it really is.
Answer will be revealed in the 7th inning.
We have to call that Cardinal fan down the clubhouse.
Think he knows the answer?
Frank Koppenbarger probably knows that answer. He's not a Cardinal fan anymore, but he grew up a Cardinal fan out there in Illinois. He probably knows who that is.
Pete Kozma leads it off for the Cardinals here in the third. He takes it inside. It's 1-0.
Not allowed to ask for help, though, except from you.
Sometimes people give you help, though.
They do,
but
I
solicit it.
I won't take it. I won't take it.
Well, you'll take it.
I'll take it, but I won't use it to answer the question. That's why I try not to look at my phone after the question.
I don't know about that. And it's okay.
If I give you an answer, I got it.
I know.
And when I need a hint, I'll ask you.
2-0 the count to Cosma. That one's off the end of the bat. A one hopper toward Rollins from the edge of the outfield grass. He got it.
That guy can run. Jimmy knew that too. And he knew he was going to have to throw off his heels. Good play. He has no choice but to take it this way and throw off his heels. They really want to backhand and crow hop if they have a chance. And in that case, showed you how strong his arm still is and the way he can flip the ball.
I think it's not only because of the balls he got to last year, because he did do that, but I think because of his arm and his ability to throw from deep in the hole. It's one of the main reasons he won a Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, he can still do a lot of things. Look, he has to cheat a little more at the position than he used to. He can't play maybe as deep on everybody that he wants to. But he still has a lot of arm left.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Garcia, the number 9 batter. He's 0 for 6. Outside, 2-1.
3 games in a row they faced pretty good hitting pitchers.
Alan Porter is hearing it from the Phillies dugout because of that last pitch. Little dribbler up the first base side, and Doc takes care of Garcia for the second out.
Big tall pitcher like Halladay. I've been able to watch him all these years. He really feels his position well.
Saturday at Phillies clubhouse, Ryan Howard talks about trying to get back to the MVP level. Ryan Sandberg opens up about his career, and we catch up with Darren Ruff and other Phillies top prospects in Lehigh Valley. Get all this and more on Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Mercedes-Benz, Saturday afternoon at 1, only on Comcast Sportsnet. And you are right about him being able to field his position.
Well, big, tall, gangly guys like that, a lot of times they have trouble with balls like that, little comebackers and stuff that are squirting along the grass. He's very much under control when he goes for those plays, and he makes them.
0-1 the Carpenter. He fly to center his first time up. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So at a Major League scoreboard, the Mets are shutting out the Nationals 2-0, bottom of the second. That is a much anticipated matchup, not because of the teams, but because of the 2 pitchers. Strasburg on the mound for the Nationals, Matt Harvey on the hill for the Mets.
Some fastballs in that game. Fastballs.
There was a changeup that floated high. And again, Alan Porter and Roy Halladay not agreeing on the call. Alan Porter just said it was high. And a fastball, that's a strike. It's 3-2. Alan Porter is a Philadelphia native from Montgomery County.
You'd hear the Phillies bench sound like a familiar voice went, "Oh yeah," on that pitch, and they got it.
Popped him up. Michael Young over, and it's out of play. Mike Matheny just said something to Alan Porter as he went over to watch that play over toward the railing.
It's never good when you're getting it from both sides.
Well,
you know, the guy last night, I was thinking about it, Estabrook. I don't think we mentioned him after we gave his name at the beginning of the game. That's how good he was with balls and strikes, or consistent. At least the players felt that way. They didn't even look at him.
Halladay has his signs, and the 3-2 pitch. Looped out toward left. Here comes Freddie Galvis. He'll take care of it. And it turns out to be a 1-2-3, top of the third for Roy Halladay. 6 in a row retired by Doc since the homer. We go to the bottom of the third here at Philadelphia. Baseball is brought to you by Acura. Acura Advance. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? And by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Phillies up 6-1, bottom of the third here at Citizens Bank Park. Carpenter going up the first base line said something and was not pleased as he flipped the helmet to his first base coach. And Doc, I believe, said something back to him, and his eyes followed him back to his position.
There's always going to be some fire from that man.
Well, and that's one thing. I don't care how long he pitches, he will never lose.
No, that's just his nature.
Bottom of the third, Kevin Franzen leads it off. Franzen takes low. It's 1-0.
Carpenter's got a little gamer in him too. You know, last night he almost got killed on that ground ball, and then he hit next time up he almost hit the ball out to dead center. Saw that happen. I think, man, you gotta like somebody like that. Most guys would have been out of the game when they get hit as hard as he did. And he's up there with no batting gloves.
Well, he's still stewing, I think, about the 3-1 pitch. You know, Doc, and rightfully so, I think, was stewing about the ball 3 pitch.
They both thought they had
a pitch.
They both think they were wrong by the umpire in that at bat.
Alan Porter, his first year as a full-time umpire. Saw him the last few years. He's got a chance to umpire a lot of the exhibition games here. As Franzen takes a strike, 3-1. He's always done a very good job.
He's out in Bluebell, evidently, which is, you say, is Montgomery County. Went to Modco.
That's just a little inside and low, and Franzen draws a leadoff walk here in the third.
You get one walk, you're going to get another one.
Second walk of the game.
Now the gates are open.
Ben Revere tripled his last time up. Ball knocked down by Cruz. Mike Matheny, who was Kevin Franzen's teammate with the San Francisco Giants. Kevin was talking about that today. I could see it in his eyes that Franzen's thinking, man, one of my teammates is a manager in Major League Baseball. I've been around for a while. But he said he was a great teammate to have. Kevin Franzen said about Mike Matheny when they were with the San Francisco Giants. He said just about the way he went about the game.
Oh, he could catch. He used to look like a goalie sitting back there. I don't know what it was. He just looked wider and bigger than everybody with his equipment. He could really block the ball in the dirt.
To the right side, and that's going to sneak into right field. A base hit. Franzen on his way to third. The throw by Beltran is offline. First and third with nobody out.
Nice base running there by Kevin Franzen. Knowing they're playing him up the middle, and that's a dribbler. Even though Beltran can throw, as a guy on first base, you want to know where he is. It's not hit all that hard. Right through the hole. He takes one look and goes to third base. Nice job.
He's doing a lot of things right tonight.
Now, right here, he's got to let the ball go by him, but he knew that Beltran is playing over in right center field. And he was going to have to come towards the line to get that thing, so he knew he could get to third base.
First and third with nobody out. And Quintero, who doubled homer run his first time up. Out in front, and it's 0-1. Wills, the fanatic, is taking some photos in preparation for his birthday celebration Sunday night. The fanatic, all fans coming to the ballpark, 14 and under, as that ball is flared to right center field. It'll drop for a hit. Franzen will score. Revere is on his way to third. An RBI single, 7-1 Phillies. Quintero is 2 for 2.
When they start to drop, it looks easy. All that time, you can't buy a hit, can't buy a run, and then all of a sudden, everywhere you hit them, hard, soft, they find holes.
Derek Lilliquist is going to go to the phone.
Roy Halladay will probably be up there to bunt now. As you see, Quintero got fooled a little bit on that, but then just flares it into the outfield. And right now, there's a lot of hits out there. The field looks twice as big as it did before.
I bet you the baseball looks twice as big, too.
Well, yeah, you know, it's not like everybody, it's not like they got 12 guys instead of 9 out there with gloves.
Halladay, after a quick conversation with Sandberg, squares in Garcia's pitch. Doc bunts it foul. It's 0-1.
Long time since, well, I don't think they've ever hit Jaime Garcia like this. You see the way they're set up for a bunt. Roy Halladay is going to try and bunt here and move the runner to second base.
He does bunt and bunts it foul. Fernando Salas throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals.
He'll throw some changeups.
That ball gets by Cruz, and it shoots high in the air and enables Revere to score easily. Quintero to second. The throw behind him not in time. 8-1 Phillies. Well, we have seen just about every facet of the game tonight.
Everything's going right. Kind of fun to see a game like this. Oh, boy, he threw that thing straight into the ground. He gave his catcher, Cruz, very little chance to do anything with that.
Look how high it went in the air after it hit the back wall.
Yeah. That was really a wild pitch.
Halladay bunts it foul. It's a strikeout. One away here in the third. For years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. Well, Doc is down on strikes for the second time. Miss. 2-1 the count. Rollins is 1 for 2. He flied out to center, and he doubled and scored in the second. And he lines that one foul. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television to change the language through the menu on your cable box. Rachel gives that young fan a baseball after caromed off the wall. And now the 2-2 pitch coming to Rollins. The dirt, 3-2. Up the third base line. Wigginton charges, has to hurry the throw, and no, not in time. The throw seemed to sail a little bit, and Craig, I don't know if he kept his foot on the bag or not.
Yeah, he didn't point at the bag, and it looked like his foot was off the bag.
But it almost looked like the throw was running out of gusto as it was coming across the diamond.
I thought it beat him, but he doesn't point at the bag.
I can't tell if his foot's off the bag. Yeah, it's off the bag.
See, normally the umpire will point at the bag,
yeah,
you know, to let you know that's why he's safe, because the throw beat him, but his heel's off the bag, according to Jerry Lane, I guess.
Well, they scored a hit, and the Phillies have first and second with one out. Galvis is up. Galvis 0 for 2. Takes a curveball in the outside corner. Quintero, who is 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, is at second. Rollins at first. Down the left field line, angling toward the pole. It's a foul ball. Nice catch by that gentleman there as the ball was bouncing around in left field. Let's take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. Take a look at this another play at first. Ball's in his glove. Can't tell if his foot is on the bag. It does look like it's on the bag there, but not there. And then Rollins hits the bag there, and the foot looks like it's still off the bag.
Yeah, and you see it go back down.
Right.
It's as if he knew it was in the air. He's trying to get it down in time.
That's our Coors Light freeze can, brought to you by Frost Brew.
What a great
Coors
shot.
Light.
What a great shot that was. I think what it showed was Jerry Lane got the call right.
Now the 0-2 pitch to Galvis. Ground ball left side. Can it be 2? We'll see. And in time for a 6-4-3 double play. 2-run score for the Phillies. Humberto Quintero had another RBI. We go to the 4th. It's an 8-1 Phillies lead. Coffee. K-Cups delivered in all the flavors you love. By who? But W.B. Mason. 3 in the books. We go to the 4th inning. Sarge, it's been a long time since you've joined us in the 4th inning when the Phillies had an 8-1 lead, or had scored 8 runs, or had scored any runs before the 5th inning.
Yeah, feels good.
I should say
Finally,
before the 6th inning.
Getting some runs early on. And you know, Doc will certainly try and pitch like it's 0-0.
First pitch is outside. All right, you've watched the first 3 innings from the other booth. What have you noticed from Doc that excites you based on, let's say, his last outing? As Galvis will give this a look into foul territory, and it drops. It just kept on going on him.
Yeah, difficult play. Well, he's pounding the zone, you know, and again for him, take a look at Galvis there. You see how he started, then he had to retract, but that's the inexperience. Plus, keep in mind there, fans, a lot of wind out there, and Galvis is a gifted athlete. Hit it out there again, I bet he catches it. With that wind, sorry, Tom, with the wind, the way it's blowing, that's a difficult play.
1-1 to count. John Jay popped out to Rollins his first time up. Inside 2-1. All right, so he's pounding the strike zone. I mean, the ball strike ratio is tight right now, but he's been around the strike zone even with a lot of the balls that have been called.
Yeah, and the other thing, doesn't seem to be laboring the way that he had been. Oh, boy. Kind of just glided to that one. Again, he's a gifted athlete, and on any of the fly balls, because he plays shortstop, he should be able to haul those in. It doesn't appear that, for me, in the 4th inning, that he is actually, you know, before maximum effort, it seemed like on every pitch he had that lather going. Even though it's a somewhat humid night, he seems to be under control.
Breaking ball, line to left field. Galvis sliding attempt. Did he get it? He holds up the glove. He got it! Get it out there again. He'll do it. 2 outs here in the 4th. His buddy Ezekiel Carrera is an outfielder by trade. He knows how tough that play is. The fans are loving it. Look at him standing up behind him.
Yeah, well, you know, again, just talked about him being a gifted athlete, but that's a little backhanded play.
Ooh.
As he makes that. Look where his eyes are as it goes down there. He's just got soft hands. Anyway, line drive kind of held up, and he was able to get a beat on it. Good play.
0-1 the count to Beltran, who homered his first time up.
It never fails. Every time a ball goes out, it's miscued. You can bet you're getting ready to get some more.
Right side, Halladay over to cover. He got there in time. The side is retired. 3-1 on the putout. 9 in a row retired by Halladay. And he's got a little thank you to Freddie Galvis for an exceptional play. We go to the bottom of the 4th here in Philadelphia. Ryne Sandberg said that Freddie Galvis is a major league player just looking for a major league position. How about this position?
Well, showing his versatility as he comes in, backhands the ball there. Now, once he's out there a little bit longer, he'll be able to throw it up a little higher and tell him that's why they call it the show. What a good play.
Well, there's so much about that play that was difficult. You know that as well as anybody playing the outfield for as long as you did. He's talking to Carrera about it. It looked like when he went into the dugout, Sarge, he was more talking about the ball he missed than the one he caught.
Yeah, very good point there, too. Sammy was kind of telling him a little bit what to do on the line. But take a look at this play, and you can see he's kind of running over, but he actually took a little bit of down and in and out. So now Samuel's talking to him about that win, how to play it. And Sammy would know how, too, because he played infield and outfield. As they both looking up.
Chase Utley will lead it off against Fernando Salas. Salas throws a strike, and it's 0-1. Utley is 1 for 1, an RBI and a walk, a run scored. Take a look at Salas's numbers. 5 games, a 7.20 ERA.
I know everything's fallen in for the Fighting Phils, but they really have had better at-bats in terms of being able to swing at more strikes. One of the reasons Michael Young is hitting so high is that he swings at strikes most of the time.
Utley pulls it toward first. And with 1 out, Young's coming up, and I think that's an excellent point, Sarge, because we've heard for the last couple of years with certain approaches, not only with the Phillies but around baseball, that there are a lot of young players and even seasoned players that are swinging at borderline strikes, pitchers' pitches. They used to say about Barry Bonds, even with all the extra stuff that he utilized during his career, he still would swing at strikes.
Oh, boy. The thing that he had, though, is that he could see one strike during the course of the game and square it up. I mean, usually your game plan would be whatever you're doing, don't throw him any strikes. You wouldn't care if you walked him because he wasn't actually running there, trying to steal bases. One of those guys on the team you didn't want to wake up. Start to pitch to him, simple, you lose.
1-1 the count to Michael Young.
I mean, that's a borderline strike, but when you're a major league hitter, you can't be afraid to hit with 2 strikes over. Well, any hitter, for that matter, whether or not you're in little league, high school, got to have the confidence that you're going to be able to get a strike and put good wood on it.
Wigginton backhands the short hop. So 2 batters, 2 groundouts, and 2 away here in the 4th. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. Ignite your luck with the newest Pennsylvania Lottery instant games. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. 2 outs. Mayberry at the plate. Swings at the first pitch. That'll be out of play. 0-1.
Yeah, he's been much more aggressive as of late, and it does show.
I think his first at bat was a clear indication of that. Now can he sustain it? Watch this catch, Sarge. Whoop, look at his arm. Look at, whoop, bam.
Oh boy.
Guy with the hat backwards. Look at the kid's face.
It's okay. Pitcher's pitch. Take a look at this grab again.
Look at all the hands that are up, and then the one hand comes out, the big paw, and then he shows it. Ooh.
That was almost like he did a magic trick.
Up high, it's 1-2. Don't want to speak out of turn because it's not our job, but I would think that's going to be in the fans' plays of the year later on this season.
Well, just the way that the whole thing was enacted there and showing the ball, mouth open.
2-2. Not only that, but Greg Farnese, who's our left field camera operator, he was on it.
Oh, boy, that was. Well, you never know. And again, he didn't even use his glove. Didn't even have a glove.
Who, Craig? Or that guy?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Right in the palm.
There's Greg. Love that barber, Greg. 2-2 pitch to Mayberry. He's pulled through the hole on the left side. He has 2 hits. And Kevin Franzen is now up with 2 away. MLB.TV is celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere.
Pretty good hitting by Mayberry Jr. there. Staying on a actually hanger. Looked to be like a little slider. This game so far is going to make Steve Henderson, Wally Joyner, the hitting coaches, feel a lot better. 10 hits already. Talked about that. As a hitting coach, you guys get 10 hits, you're starting to feel pretty good.
Outside, 1-2.
And then 10 hits with some damage.
Off the hands, Wigginton throws out Franzen. Side is retired for the Phils. No runs, 1 hit. And 1 man left. Salas pitches a scoreless 4th. We go to the 5th. Phillies up 7. tonight, 13 last night. They have a 7-run lead. Let's take a look at the Subway in-game box score. And for the Phillies, begins at the top. Rollins, a double and a run scored. But look at the bottom of the order. Revere, a triple RBI, 2 runs. Quintero, a double and 2 RBIs. You can even throw Franzen in there. He's got a walk and 2 runs scored.
Well, you like the production.
Alan Craig leads it off against Halladay here in the 5th. And the first pitch a little low. It's 1-0.
Well, it'd be nice to get 3 quick outs.
No one could ever really predict the weather. There is a storm in the area.
Yep.
3 more outs, and it's an official ball game. One pitch to Craig. Fly ball down the right field line. Utley, where the wind really is twirling that ball around, and he makes the catch.
Utley played that all the way. Franzen was getting ready to have a little bit of problem. That's why you run to that particular area. Never can tell where the wind is going to do. You see how that wind is. What? That's just what a relief it is after you have that ball in your glove. Like, can you believe that?
Here's Wigginton. He grounded out his only time up. Boy, he's painting right now. I mean, his fastball has been at 90 the whole night.
Well, so far, we haven't said it in a long time, but the doctor is definitely operating. He puts that ball on the outside, puts it on the inside. Little slider.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's 0-2. He throws it where it looks like a strike and zoop right out of the zone.
Yep. That's what we're used to right there. Take a look at this. Wigginton taking a fastball. Look how far out of the zone that is.
Well,
Good pitch.
Doc has retired the Cardinals at order 3 times. He needs 1 more out to do it again. And every time the Phillies do that this year, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. Halladay got Cruz looking his first time up. And it's 2-0 as he bends him back a little bit.
Just in case he's looking for that outside corner fastball.
Now the splits for Halladay, 33 strikes, 27 balls. It doesn't seem like the balls would be that close to the strikes the way he's thrown tonight. And the only hit tonight has been Beltran's home run.
He's in a lot more control of exactly what he's trying to do. And let's face it, having that many runs early on has a tendency to make a pitcher feel pretty good on the mound.
Well, that's the fastest fastball of the night at 91 miles an hour.
So then maybe it'll take a couple of starts or whatever to consistently get it where it's in the 90s.
Now ball softly hit. Utley is there. Big hop. Throws to first. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals for the 3rd straight inning. 12 in a row retired by Halladay. Sits the home run. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an official ball game as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Following the Cardinals series, the Phillies will take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at a 4-game set, 3 night games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then a Citizens Bank Business Person Special on Thursday at 1:05. Make your plans now. Order your tickets at Phillies.com. Wednesday, a great giveaway for that 7:05 game. It's the MLB Network Sling Bag, free to all fans. Home half of the 5th, Ben Revere, he's 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. Takes against Salas on the outside corner. In between innings, Mike Buchholder is the director of grounds. Head groundskeeper for the Phillies was out talking to Jerry Lane and Greg Gibson, the first and second base umpires. They've taken the cover off the tarp down the left field line. Inside, 1-1.
Well, you've been here around here long enough to know that obviously the weather can come, but when you see Mike down there and he's taking that tarp off, doesn't look good.
Two and two the count to Revere. Revere 3 for 5 right now in this series. His average of 224. A little high and inside, 3-2.
Well, have him in a position now where he can kind of just relax a little bit, not as much pressure to get on. When you're in that leadoff spot, you got that pressure that you don't get on. The team's not going to do very well. Obviously, it didn't at the time. And where he's hitting now, he can relax a little bit more. Still be able to run. That 8th hitter will be the guy that end up not getting the good pitches, especially if he's stealing and it's 2 outs.
Ground ball toward the middle. That was a good hop for Cosmo to throw out Revere. And the number 8 batter, Quintero's coming up. Quintero's also 2 for 2.
Well, take a look at this. Quintero hitting that ball right in the gap. I tell you what, everything they were hitting was finding a hole. RBIs to boot. That helps and helps him feel good. Bench players always want to contribute.
Quintero's now 3 for his last 7, counting his games on the road trip, with his 2 hits tonight.
You end up getting hits, you end up playing a little bit more.
On the count. Doc's on deck. Phillies, as play began tonight, 7.5 games off the pace in the East, behind the Braves, who are 13-2. Cardinals, meanwhile, leaders in the Central, but only by a half game over Dusty Baker's Reds. Pirates are 2 back, Milwaukee 2.5 back, and the Cubs 3.5 back. And right now the Pirates are leading the Braves 5-0. Mets lead the Nationals 2-0. Up to the Hall of Fame club. Oh, another good catch with one hand. Gentleman right there. Here we go, Sarge.
Take a look at it.
That's right.
Okay, I guess that's the way it's going to be this year. Got to go with the one-hander.
Yeah, no two-handed grabs this year. All one-handed in order to get on the Plays of the Year video. Swing and a miss, 2 outs. Salas is quieted things down a little bit. And Doc's coming up. What will the Eagles do with the 4th overall pick of the NFL draft? Derek Gunn has complete coverage of the first round from New York City. The Kelly Draft, Day 1, presented by Family Chrysler Jeep Dodge, Thursday night at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Folks are wondering, will the Eagles, will they take a quarterback? Will they take a Geno Smith from West Virginia? Will they trade? Maybe get some more picks? Move back in the draft? Maybe take an offensive lineman? Everybody wonders when the NFL draft comes around, particularly if you have a pick in, let's say, the top 10, what you may go for. Down and away, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, you would think, obviously, the best athlete, but maybe you don't need a quarterback at this particular time, or whatever one of the better players might be in that top 10 or 20.
Well, it's whether Chip Kelly thinks that Michael Vick or Nick Foles can handle his offense. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2, not only for now, but also for the long term. The Eagles certainly need to button up the offensive line.
Oh, boy, I was going to say, I mean, I'm no expert, but I know one thing. You can't keep getting beat up like that and thrown to the ground and expect to throw a pass.
And a called strike 3. Halladay goes down looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Salas. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies. We've completed 5. The Phillies enjoying a good night on top 8-1 as we move to the 6th. Cleveland Indians. It's Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night. A free Phillies cap for all fans on Tuesday the 14th. Wednesday is the Citizens Bank Business Person Special. And a Model Sporting Goods senior stroll the bases. Make your plans now. Order tickets for the Phils and the Indians. Phillies will see the Indians on the next road trip. They'll play 3 in New York. An off day on Monday in Cleveland. And then they face the Indians. Roy Halladay has been Roy Halladay tonight.
Yep.
He's allowed 1 hit. It was a home run to Carlos Beltran. You get so enamored with the offense that you forget how important Halladay and Lee and this pitching staff will be for the Phillies' success this season. So this is this is huge right now. I mean, he starts this inning off with an 88-mile-an-hour cutter that's fouled into the glove of Quintero. And it's 0-1. But he's been right around the strike zone. And
you can pitch with his velocity. The problem is just can't be out over the plate. And he'll have to do with and start to work on what works with him. See the way that Kyle Kendrick was throwing, what works with him is that changeup, and he's really perfected it. Good pitch.
No appeal, no swing, says Jerry Lane. 2-1. Cliff Lee will pitch tomorrow for the Phillies. Kyle Kendrick, who's next to John Lannon, goes on Sunday. Off the end of the bat towards center field. Revere makes a diving attempt. He got it. What a play by Ben Revere. Boy, he's a wizard out there at center field. Yep. What a way.
Making all the plays there. Pretty good jump as he comes in and reads that ball. Takes a lot of pressure off of Doc as he comes in and goes into his dive. Here it is again. Results. It's a nice catch there, and Halladay, he's a little irritated because the ball was squared up.
Shane Robinson is pitch hitting. He fouls the first one down the right field line. It's 0-1.
And all these guys, for sure, and especially Doc, I mean, the pride that he has to go out there to give his team a chance to win is like no other. That's why when he was getting beat up, it was hard for him to take. Hard for us almost to look at.
Well, tonight he's got a great defense from the guy on the left and the guy on the right out in the outfield, and that's certainly helped keep that hit total at just 1 by the Cardinals. Galvis in the 4th, Revere here in the 6th. One-two pitch. Hit over to second base. To his right, one step is Utley. Well, let's take a look at our Mazda leaders. And the leaders in winning percentage, active leaders in winning percentage. And you see Halladay at 662. Jared Weaver, who's injured, at 658. Tim Hudson, he seems to be neck and neck right now with Doc on a number of stats.
Yeah.
And then David Price, CC Sabathia.
Tim Hudson, what does he have? 199 victories?
199 wins for Hudson.
Yeah.
Carpenter's 0 for 2.
You have Andy Pettit leading the way with the active pitchers there. 247 victories. A lot of victories, either way you're looking at it. So far tonight, Alan Porter doing a pretty good job behind home plate.
Yeah, the last time Carpenter was up, Doc questioned a call. Carpenter questioned a call. But you're right. He has been around the strike zone with his balls and strikes.
Well, as long as you're consistent as an umpire, look for the player and the pitcher to adjust to your zone.
Well, here you go. Last time up, count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Doc wanted this pitch, Sarge. Called a ball. Carpenter wanted this pitch. Called a strike.
Well, I didn't like either one of them for a hitter for me.
Outside 2-2.
Although if he's pitching on my team, they're strikes.
Going up the line, Carpenter not happy. Halladay barking back at him. 2-2 pitch. They check. They'll appeal. No, they won't. Never mind.
I think those are the matches when you retire that you really miss the most, and that is that one-on-one confrontation that you have against the pitcher.
Ball 4. A 2-out walk, and it's only the second base runner. Halladay is now 2 over the minimum. John Jay will be the batter. I think any sport, Sarge, whether it be football, basketball, hockey, tennis, doesn't matter. The battles, the individual battles, being part of a team, it's hard to replace.
Well, it is hard to replace. And then you have the situations where late in the ball game, they're always counting on the guys that they feel should be able to carry the load. Usually 3, 4, 5 in the lineup. Those guys come up in the key situation. Fans are thinking, I'm feeling pretty good about their team. And nothing better than a game-winning hit, game-winning walk-off.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Phillies staked Halladay to a 5-0 lead. Then after it went 5-1, Phillies scored in the bottom of the 2nd to make it 6-1, and then 2 more in the 3rd to make it 8-1. Curveball waved at and missed. That was a beauty. That may have been the best curveball of the night. 4 strikeouts for Halladay. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. Halladay tonight, well, he has struck out 4. He's allowed only 1 hit. We've completed 5.5 here in Philadelphia. It's the Phillies 8 and the Cardinals 1. It's not worth driving. It's not worth building. Buy Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And buy Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most innovative lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Beautiful night here in Philadelphia. Here at the ballpark, the Phillies are celebrating Jackie Robinson. A tribute to Jackie Robinson. Phillies were not here on the 15th. They were in Cincinnati. So each and every year, if the Phillies happen to be on the road when the 15th rolls around, they make sure that there is a separate night where they can honor the memory and the anniversary, the 66th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier and opening up sports all over the United States to everyone. And as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, Jimmy Rollins, Freddie Galvis, and Chase Utley will lead it off against the new pitcher for the Cardinals. It's left-hander Mark Zubczynski, who will take over for Fernando Salas.
And Chase Utley was also talking about the Jackie Robinson day and what it meant to him. That with him playing at UCLA, obviously, you know that Jackie Robinson played there, and he said what an honor it was to be able to play on the same field with someone that had so much to do with being a pioneer, so to speak, of baseball. I thought that was a pretty good tribute from Chase Utley.
I thought that was great. We've heard from Ryan Howard and from Ben Revere and from Jimmy Rollins. Rollins lifts it in the air to center. John Jay is out there, and he makes the catch. One away. And that'll bring Freddie Galvis to the plate. Let's check in with Murph. It's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph?
All right, T-Mac, thank you very much. Brought to you, of course, by Gwinnett Mercy College. And the Rangers opening day starter, Matt Harrison, is headed to the DL. In fact, he is headed to have back surgery. He's going to have back surgery on Tuesday, and the Rangers have announced they do not expect him back till after the All-Star break. Of course, Harrison was an All-Star last year. And as the entire country focuses in on the city of Boston, of course, the Boston Red Sox canceled their game tonight against the Kansas City Royals. But guys, we have some good news to report in the notebook, and that is that the suspect, the second suspect, is now in custody, according to multiple news reports. And so hopefully that saga has come to an end tonight. And the Boston police reporting that as well.
Wow.
Well, just great news.
Yeah.
And I know it's a sigh of relief for everybody up in Watertown, Massachusetts, and in Boston, as Galvis is robbed of a base hit by Alan Craig over at first. The 19-year-old suspect, the alleged suspect, was cornered in the backyard in a boat in Watertown, and after searching, going house to house, apartment to apartment, store to store all day long, according to the Boston Police Department, bomber number 2, which is how they have labeled him, is in custody. And that's the only news that we have. We don't know how, what his state is right now. Physically, they said there was a lot of blood in the area, but he is in custody, and that's just great news.
Yeah, sure is.
I know everybody they had their eyeballs pinned to the television or their ears to the radio all day long, watching all of this unfold.
Yeah.
And guys, what a remarkable job, just by the Boston Police Department and the surrounding police departments as well. And of course the FBI. It's a huge undertaking trying to find one person in a major city, but all working together to get that job done. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, with the hundreds who were injured, the 3 fatalities. Swing and a miss by Utley. Some good news as we finish up the bottom of the 6th inning here in Philadelphia. The Phillies on top 8-1, 6 in the books. We go to the 7th.
Time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. A 2-out walk key to 5-run first inning. Unbelievable. The Phillies get a walk, and then 5 runs later they had a nice lead. And Carlos Beltran's home run, the only run tonight. And Roy Halladay, he's been good. He is not in the middle of the plate. He's thrown all his pitches. And they've had a lot of weak outs against him today.
Oh, they have in a big way. His best fastball, as far as I can remember, just looking at it, the radar gun up top there where you see the pitches right now, was 91 miles an hour. And he's hit it a couple of times, but he's been consistently at 89, 90. So that's not even a question at this point.
And out of the middle of the plate.
Which is the most important thing.
Right. Always the most important.
Through 20 pitches in the sixth, he's at 85. This is 86, and it's a strike. 2-1 to Holiday.
And that means he's repeating his delivery and repeating his landing spot and all those things that he has to do to get back to being a good pitcher.
Down low, 3-1. He's walked one tonight. That was in the sixth. He only hit the home run by Beltran. Out toward right field. Mayberry to the track, to the wall, and it's gone into the first row. 8-2 the ball game.
He's trying to figure what happened there.
2 hits, 2 solo home runs. Just didn't look like it was going to carry, even though it just went into the first row. Just going to carry far enough, but you can't really gauge the wind at all today.
Yeah, I think he thinks he made a good pitch. Well, it did run back a little bit. It did run back, and that's one of those 335 footers, home run. But it's a solo. As you say, it's a solo.
Now Beltran, the hitter, he's 1 for 2. Homered his first time up. The rain starts to fall here in Philadelphia.
We got lucky. Got that. It's an official game with this terrible forecast we had tonight. Roy Halladay, one of the reasons why, because he's really moved it along.
Back-to-back curveballs, back-to-back strikes to Beltran. Swing and a miss. He threw him 3 straight curveballs. And it's the 5th strikeout for Halladay. 2,085 for his career. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. Find a branch near you. Visit citizensbank.com. Now when Craig, the hitter, he takes one at the knees for a strike. Craig is 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's popped out to second on a ball that was moving every which way in right field on Utley. You don't want to underscore the outing that Doc had his last time against the Marlins, because it's what led to his 200th victory. But this is a much better lineup that he's facing tonight than what he saw in Miami.
Right. Much better.
And he's handling this lineup. The 1-2 pitch. Foul ball, and it remains 1-2.
So that's what he's been able to do tonight. He's thrown a couple curveballs away, and then he ran a pretty good sinker in on his hands. And Craig got a piece of it. Almost struck him out on that. And he's been able to move the ball in and out very well here tonight. Hit his spots a lot better.
That one was at 92 miles an hour. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Mets now lead the Nationals 4-0. Excuse me. Mike Davis is homered. Outside, 3-2.
He didn't like see him trying to repeat what he just did right there. He knew that he didn't get in his arm slot, and he was trying to find it there after he finished throwing that pitch.
Curveball waved at. Back-to-back strikeouts for Halladay. 6 tonight.
Pretty good pitch to throw 3-2. Got a hitter up there thinking he's going to get a fastball in this situation in an 8-2 game. And he throws that big spinner at him, and you see Craig is way out in front of him. Could be his last inning. Not that he really wants to hit again.
Well, I think he does. I think he wants to put it in play.
Well, yeah, sooner or later he will.
Chad Durbin's throwing in the pen for the Phillies.
Those three are all in the same spot away and missed.
Just walked Wigginton on 4 pitches. Second walk of the night. Got a little swagger going tonight.
Oh yeah.
Chatting with the umpire a little bit. Chatting with the opposing team.
Once you get through 7, it just sounds better than 6 2/3. But that's why they have Durbin up right now, in case there's any trouble in this inning.
He just stretched it out a little bit. And now it's 2-1 to Cruz.
A little bit off right now.
Doc called that one himself. It's 3-2.
Yeah, he threw a cut fastball up there. Looked like it moved away from him a little bit at the end.
With open arms, the folks in Philadelphia have been waiting for this kind of an outing from Doc. The 3-2 grounder right side. Utley waits on it, throws to first, and Roy Halladay is through 7 innings tonight. He's allowed 2 hits, both solo home runs, and through 7 he has a 6-run lead. This has been as close to vintage Doc as we have seen since last year. Right around the strike zone with every single pitch he has thrown. Roy Halladay is making smiles for everyone. inning ended, he just wanted to get up and get some cover, and that's exactly what he and she and everybody else has done. As the rain has started to fall here at the ballpark as we get set for the bottom of the 7th inning with the Phillies on top 8-2. That's what happened as soon as Halladay got the last out and threw the strike. Literally, it started dumping water. Folks started running toward the exits. Then it lightened up a little bit, but it's starting to come down a little harder as we speak. And the grounds crew, Mike Buchholder went out about 2 innings ago and talked to Jerry Lane. And I think he told Jerry Lane, once it starts raining hard, it's probably not going to stop for a little bit. We need to get the tarp on the field. So that's what the grounds crew did.
Yeah, and what they worry about, Tom, with the front that's coming is if it hits, they won't be able to get the tarp down because it'll blow up in the air so much.
In fact, they're spiking down the tarp. You just saw them putting the spikes in the ground there. You saw Mike popping the spikes in the ground right there. Yeah. And there's Mike DiMuzio who's handing them out.
And then the problem is you see it happen once in a while. When you wait too long, then you go to put it down. You can't get the tarp down. The field gets so wet that when they finally try to resume, it takes forever to try and get the field ready again.
Yeah, exactly. So we're in a rain delay, obviously, here at Citizens Bank Park. And before we give you a look at our rain delay fill, we're going to give you our question one more time for the Dodge Stump the Fans trivia quiz. Which player holds the Cardinals single-season record, Wheels, for home runs by a rookie with 37? Well, it's TV, Wheels. You have to.
I was just showing you what I wrote down. I wrote down Albert.
Albert.
Has to be.
Albert.
Oh, well, there's only one Albert.
Albert Pujols is
correct. What do you think I'm talking about? Bill Cosby routine?
Back in 2001.
Fat Albert?
Back in 2001, he launched himself onto the scene, and he hasn't looked back.
Yeah.
So Charlie Emanuel taking a look at his lineup card just in case the time comes that we resume. He's going to figure out who's going to bat for Roy Halladay because you figure Doc is done at this point. And what a night for Doc. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks. The 2 hits were solo home runs, and the Phillies staked him to a pretty comfortable lead. So he's the pitcher of record on the winning side. The Phillies are leading it 8-2 at the bottom of the 7th inning. We're in a rain delay. And as we said before, tonight is a tribute to Jackie Robinson here at the ballpark. So with that, we're going to let you sit back and enjoy Net Impact featuring Jackie Robinson.